The hallway was packed with students, their hushed whispers filling the air as they eagerly watched the heated exchange between Wine and Jungkook. Eyes flickered between the two, tension crackling like electricity. Jungkook, the college heartthrob, stood with his hands shoved into his pockets, a smile playing at the corner of his lips. His dark eyes glimmered with amusement as he looked at Wine, who stood firmly before him, arms crossed and gleaming back at him without a trace of fear. You seriously have no shame, do you? He drawled, tilting his head slightly. You run your mouth like you actually stand a chance against me. Wine scoffed, stepping closer, her eyes burning with defiance. And you seriously have no brain, do you? You think just because people worship you in this college, you can say whatever you want and no one will call you out? A few students gasped at her boldness, while others exchanged amused looks, enjoying the rare sight of someone standing up to Jungkook. Jungkook chuckled under his breath, shaking his head. You are really something, Wine. His eyes darkened as he leaned in slightly. But let me remind you, people don't call me the king of this college for nothing. One raised a brow and faced, oh, king of what? Arrogance, ego, or maybe stupidity? The crowd erupted in muffled snickers, and Jungkook's smirk twitched, his jaw tightening. His pride was too big to let her words slide. You sure? Talk big for someone who is barely relevant. You should be thankful I'm even wasting my time on you. Why let out a mocking laugh? Oh wow, should I bow and thank His Highness for gracing me with his precious attention? She placed a hand on her chest dramatically. I mean, seriously, Jungkook, do you hear yourself? You act like you own this place just because a bunch of brainless girls swoon over you. Jungkook took another step forward, the amusement in his expression replaced by irritation. And you act like you are different from them, but deep down you are just another girl who can't resist me, or not you. One's eyes widened for a split second before she spoke, shaking her head. Oh, please, John, I would rather eat a shoe than falling for someone like you. Jungkook let out a low chuckle, though his fists clenched. Careful what you say, sweetheart. I might just make you eat those words. Wine rolled her eyes. Bring it on. I'm not scared of you. The tension was at its peak when suddenly a pair of arms wrapped around Wine from behind, pulling her back. Wine, stop it. Sophia's voice was urgent as she held Wine tightly. This isn't wanted. At the same time, Jungkook's friend grabbed his shoulder, holding him back before he could take another step forward. Bro, not here. Everyone is watching. Jungkook's eyes remained locked on Wine, his jaw clenched, his breathing heavy. This isn't over, Wine. His voice was low, laced with warning. Wine smirked, tilting her head slightly. Oh, I know, and I can't wait to embarrass you again. The crowd buzzed with murmurs and excited whispers, knowing that this was far from the last clash between them. As Wine and Sophia walked toward the classroom, the echoes of students' whispers still lingered in the hallway. Wine huffed in frustration, her arms crossed as she kicked the air in annoyance. Why do you always fight with him? She asked, adjusting the straps of her bag. Are you blaming me? He started first. She snapped, still fuming. I didn't mean it like that. She said, I just think you should avoid him. You know how he is. His behavior is the worst. He loves messing with you. Avoid him? That's impossible when he's always breathing down my neck like a damn mosquito. She slumped into her seat. I swear John Jungkook's only purpose in life is to ruin my mood. I mean, you do get worked up way too easily. Oh, really? Well, let's see how calm you would be if someone kept calling you short every single time. But he's not exactly wrong. You are kind of tiny. Excuse me, I'm not that short. Yeah, not that short, just 5 feet. Wine's eyes twitched, her deadly glare burning into Sophia's soul. No, I mean, I was just joking. You are totally average height, completely. Let's just go before we are late. She said, grabbing Wine's wrist and practically dragging her forward before she could explode. I swear, first that annoying John and now you. I must be cursed to deal with brainless people today. Sophia giggled as they entered the class, but Wine was already plotting her revenge for both Jungkook and her so-called best friend. The lecture had just ended, and as students began filing out of the classroom, Wine packed her books neatly into her bag. Sophie was about to leave with her when the professor called her over. Sophia, I need your help with checking some assignments. It won't take long. Sophia groaned but nodded, giving Wine an apologetic look. I will catch up with you later, she said before heading toward the professor's desk. One side zipping her bag when she noticed someone approaching. She looked up and saw Hajun, the class topper, standing in front of her with a polite smile. Hey, Wine. Oh, hey, Hajun, she greeted, smiling. She had always found him to be polite and well mannered, unlike a certain someone who only knew how to get on her nerves. I was wondering if you could help me with a few math problems. I know you are really good at it, and I could use some guidance. Wine beamed, feeling a little proud. Of course, I would be happy to help. As they walked through the hallway together, Wine slung her bag over her shoulder. Hi June, let's go to the cafeteria first. I'm starving. Oh, yeah, me too. Let's grab something to eat before studying. The two of them were chatting lightly when, out of nowhere, someone roughly shoved Hajun's shoulder, making him stumble slightly. What the? Her eyes darted up and her stomach twisted in irritation when she saw who it was. Chonko. Of course. Didn't see you there. My bad. He said lazily, though his sharp gaze was fixated on wine. Are you serious, Joan? What's your problem now? She huffed, stepping between Hajun and Chonko. Jungkook scoffed, tilting his head. My problem, maybe I should be asking you that. Didn't know you were tutoring guys in the hallway now. Oh, please, are you jealous or something? She shot back. Jealous? He laughed, but there was no humor in his voice. As if I would ever be jealous of this. He gestured toward Hajun dismissively. Hajun, who had been silent the entire time, finally spoke up. I asked Wine for help. If you have an issue, you should talk to me. Jungkook's jaw clenched. Oh, I wasn't talking to you, but since you are here, how about finding another tutor? She's not free for losers like you. Enough, Jungkook. Hajun is not a loser. At least he knows how to be respectful, unlike you. Jungkook's eyes darkened at her words, his hands falling into fists. His entire body radiated irritation, and Wine could practically feel the heat of his anger. Not wanting to hear another word from him, Wine grabbed Hajun's wrist. We're leaving. Jungkook gritted his teeth, watching as Wine pulled Arjun away from him. His jaw locked as he suppressed the urge to yank her back. Arjun and Wine entered the cafeteria, got some food, and then headed toward the football ground, where very few students were around. They sat on a bench, and Wine opened her notebook. All right, let's get started. So, in this equation, she explained the concepts carefully, and Hajun listened attentively, nodding along. After some time, Wine checked the time and stretched. The break is about to end. Let's go. Just as she stood up, she suddenly felt a firm grip on her wrist. She turned, startled. Hajun, what are you doing? Hajun glanced around, making sure no one was watching. His expression had changed. His usual polite smile was gone. Wine, I wanted to tell you something. A strange feeling settled in Wine's stomach. Okay, I like you. Wine, no, I love you. What? Her eyes widened in shock. Before she could react, her Jones grip tightened and he took a step closer. Let go of me, she protested, trying to pull her wrist away. Come on, Wine, we have spent so much time together. I know you like me too. She said, let go. A chillingly familiar voice cut through the air. Both Wine and Hajun froze. Jungkook stood a few feet away, his expression deadly. His dark eyes were locked onto Hajun's hand around Wine's wrist. His fists were clenched so tightly that his knuckles turned white. Can't you hear? She's denying you. You don't get to force her. Hajun barely had time to react before Jungkook's fist connected with his face, sending him stumbling backward. Jungkook, Hajun held his jaw, eyes wide in shock, before turning and running away without another word. Jungkook scoffed, shaking his hand as if Hajun's face had dirtied it. He then turned to Wine with a smug smirk. Can't even say a thank you. Wine rolled her eyes, crossing her arms. You just love being nosy, don't you? Jungkook smirked, and you just love attracting trouble, don't you? Wine huffed, walking past him. Whatever, I don't have time for this. Jungkook followed lazily behind, his mate never feeling. She might be stubborn, but she was his favorite kind of trouble. The next day, Wine arrived at Sophia's house, clutching the notebook. Sophia had forgotten in class. The door was slightly open, so she hesitated for a moment before stepping inside. As she entered the living room, she froze. Right in front of her was Jungkook on one knee, holding a single red rose. Sophia stood in front of him, her eyes widening when she noticed Wine. Wine? All the sound of her name, Jungkook turned his head, his expression immediately shifting from surprise to panic. The room fell into a heavy silence. Wait, it's not what it looks like. One let out a bitter chuckle, gripping the notebook tighter. Oh, don't mind me. I didn't mean to interrupt your moment. She walked forward, handing Sophia the notebook. Here, you forgot this yesterday. Before Jung could say anything else, she spun on her heels and walked out, ignoring his calls. Wine avoided them, both of them. Sophie tried to approach her multiple times, but Wine pretended not to hear her. Jungkook, too, seemed restless, but she refused to look in his direction. What was this feeling? Why did it hurt? She frowned, schooling herself under her breath. I always fight with him, so why does this ever bother me? Wine, just forget it. Before she could dwell on it further, a boy from her class walked up to her. Hey, the professor is calling you. He wants to see you in room 102. Wine nodded and followed the directions given to her. When she reached the room, she pushed the door open only to stop in confusion. There was no professor. There was only Jungkook, standing there with his arms crossed. She sighed, of course. Now what? She asked, folding her arms. Jungkook smirked, leaning against the desk. You have been ignoring me all day. That's kind of rude, don't you think? Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you cared about politeness. He chuckled, shaking his head. Look, about yesterday, no need to explain. It's none of my business. It is your business, he sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. I wasn't posing to Sophia. Why advise a bro? Or really, then what you were just being in that pose? Chunguk rolled his eyes. No genius. I wanted to propose to someone else, but I was so nervous, so I told Sophia and she agreed to help me practice. Wine blinked. Oh. A strange feeling settled in her chest. Who do you love? She asked hesitantly. Chokuk smirked, pulling his phone from his pocket. I have her picture, wanna see? Wang nodded, curious. He tapped on the screen, but instead of showing her a picture, he suddenly pulled her closer by the shoulder and flipped the camera to selfie mode. The front camera reflected both of them together. Wine's breath hitched. Her eyes widened. She turned to him, pointing at herself. This means Chungkook chuckled, nodding. Yeah, I love you. I have loved you from the very start. I just always picked fights with you because I wanted an excuse to be near you. Wine's heart pounded, her lips parted, but before she could say anything, the door suddenly swung open. Sophia stood at the entrance smirking. I knew it. Wine quickly stepped back, her cheeks turning red. What are you talking about? Oh, don't even try denying it. You were jealous, were not you? Wine scoffed, crossing her arms. Who said that? Sophia grinned. Your eyes tell everything, Wine. Jungkook smirked beside her. Yeah, so okay to answer me, Miss Jealous. Wine groaned, covering her face while Sophia and Jungkook laughed. Wine took a deep breath and turned to Sophia, guilt settling in her chest. I'm sorry for ignoring you. I just, before she could finish, Sophia waved her hand dismissively with unknowing smirk. Oh, please, if I were in your place, I would have done the same. Wine smiled in relief as Sophia gave her a quick wink before stepping back toward the door. Now I will leave you two lovebirds alone. Enjoy. With that, she turned and walked out, closing the door behind her. Silence filled the room as Wine and Jungkook stood there, the air thick with unspoken words. Jungkook tilted his head, stepping closer. So, are you gonna answer me now? His voice was softer this time, almost teasing. Wine bit her lip, avoiding his gaze. Her fingers fit-catted with the hem of her sleeve as she hesitated before finally nodding. Yeah, she mumbled. Choco grinned, stepping even closer. What was That I didn't hear you. Wine looked up, narrowing her eyes at his obvious teasing. I said yes, I like it too, okay? Jungkook smirked, crossing his arms. You put on a good act, though, pretending to hate me all this time. Wine rolled her eyes before playfully smacking his arm. Oh, shut up. Jungkook laughed, catching her wrist before she could hit him again. So does this mean I can call you my girlfriend now? Wine's face turned red, but she didn't pull away. Only if you stop being annoying. Jungkook smirked. No promises. Wine groaned, but deep down she couldn't hide her smile.